Welcome to the Travel Agent Podcast. I'm your host, Aylin Blanco. I interview successful industry professionals and share my personal journey to becoming a travel agent. The show is for aspiring travel agents and travel professionals at every level. My mission is to uncover the universal keys to thrive in this business. Join me as I take a closer look into the life of a travel agent. Hello, and welcome to the Travel Agent Podcast. Thank you so much for joining in. This week we have a new, well, she's not new because she's already been on the show. So we are following up with one of our wonderful old guests, and I'm going to let her reintroduce herself.
Thank you, Aylin. I'm so thrilled to be back on the show. I am Dina Farmer, and I think we talked last time. I was the only Disney travel agent on your podcast. But again, I am Dina Farmer. I am the owner of Lily and Magnolia Travel, a full-service autism travel agency. And I help families with autism navigate the complicated system of traveling, especially when you have someone on the autism spectrum. It's a real big baby for me since my oldest son was recently diagnosed with autism. And that's basically when he got the diagnosis, that's where I decided to pivot. And I didn't leave Disney completely, but my focus is now definitely on helping other families with autism, regardless of where they are on the spectrum, travel the world.
I love that so much. You were able to kind of pivot something that is near and dear to your heart,
Right.
and truly something I believe is needed. So that's
Yeah.
awesome.
Thank you. I found that there's although there's an agency that certifies travel advisors to become certified autism travel professionals, but there's not a lot of us that are out there. And I found that most people that are a certified autism travel professional also have a loved one with autism or even autistic themselves. So it's not a lot, but I'm hoping in the future there'll be more other advisors that are at least mildly interested in helping other clients with hidden disabilities like autism.
Well, I am so happy that you've made that pivot and that you are going to be truly positively impacting a sector of people that may have not known that they had that available. So, thank you.
Yeah. Oh, thank you.
So, tell me a little bit about how that's changed your business. Has it changed your business model? Has it changed your workflow? Or is everything kind of the same? Just your ideal client has changed.
I think the two biggest things is my ideal client has definitely changed. They are kind of a mirror of myself, but of course at a much higher tax bracket. And then my model has changed in that I've been doing a lot of networking with other travel advisors, and sometimes other advisors will come across families that will say on their inquiry form that their child or their teen has autism, and then they hear me shouting on social media, and I've gotten a few referrals from other TAs. And I think before my system, I was just kind of collecting whoever would show up. And now I'm seeing that through networking with other travel agents that they are sending me over clients that they're not comfortable with working because of the autism diagnosis, or they just don't know what to do. So they know that I have that title in my social media, and they send them over to me because I don't ever stop talking on social media about traveling with autism. So I guess that's really the two biggest ways my business has changed since I decided to move away from exclusively Disney to now exclusively autism travel. And that doesn't mean that I don't book Disney. It just means that I don't book it as much as I used to, for sure.
Well, if you are listening to this right now, I want you to immediately get the share button and share it to your fellow travel agents because we want to promote collaboration over competition.
Exactly.
I have experienced it. Dina has experienced it. We need to come together as a group because there are people who can can help. She's definitely, an expert in a situation that you may not feel comfortable with. And so we can help each other out.
Yeah.
So stop what you're doing and share this episode right now. What since we're in this new year, what are your top 3 business goals?
So one of the biggest ones is I am working with an influencer, and we are coming up with, I can't spill all the beans yet, but we're collaborating in a way to help not only travel advisors become better aware of autism, but also to reach out to suppliers, because as much as travel advisors don't know about autism, that goes right back to suppliers too, and trying to find ways to let suppliers know, like, you have a really great starting point, but this is where you could do better. And to make it easier for clients to travel there, because again, the autism travel arena, like, there is a huge pool of people that absolutely want to travel, or families that want to travel with a love with autism, but they just don't have the accommodations that they need. So we are working behind the scenes to figure out exactly how this is going to work. I'm super excited about that. Just the details are not completely hammered out. Sorry, my little guy. I think the second one is just rebuilding. Like, that's my biggest goal, is rebuilding after 2020. That was a really rough year. And as a mom with a child with autism, I can understand how other families absolutely do not want to travel, because, you have the therapies and school, online school, most of us are in, and it just makes, like, all those things compounded on the internet, and thinking about getting a plane when your child doesn't even tolerate a mask is it's so just thinking about it, I'm like, oh my gosh, that's so intimidating. But I I understand what happened in 2020, and I'm hoping that with 2021 we can see some kind of momentum building, even if it's just domestic vacations. And my very last business goal is developing social stories to help families with autism travel, so that when we're booking a vacation, I can send them over something that they can see, because individuals with autism really enjoy routine, and a lot of them can be very rigid with that routine. So being able to share, like, oh, we're going to Iceland, and this is the place that we're going to, and this is what to expect, and like, this is what our hotel room is going to look like, but like a walkthrough. I'm kind of hoping I can coordinate with suppliers to be able to get that information, so that I can have a library to send to my clients.
You are doing some fantastic things. Like, you're saying it like, oh, it's no big deal. But you are really, like, you're making a huge impact.
Oh.
So congratulate yourself. I mean, I think the pandemic has not given us I don't know, not showing us what we're really doing through all of this.
Right.
Like, you have figured out this and putting this together during a pandemic with kids at home doing homeschool and running a business. Like, I'm I'm clapping for you.
Thank you.
Like, you need to give yourself a little bit more credit, because
Oh.
I'm listening to you and I'm just in awe. Like, I'm so happy for all the things that you're being able to accomplish, because I was about to ask you, what is one of your scariest business decisions to date, but like, you're doing all kinds of things right now that are just big goals and a big deal.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I'm trying because I feel like there's just not enough with autism travel in general. And I'd really like to get momentum building. And thank you so much. That's like so kind. But I just really want to get momentum building, so that when travel, like, starts to come back, that travel and tourism suppliers realize, like, hey, this is money, really, in their eyes, that we're missing out on. And then to also extend that to families with autism, because I want to travel too, but also take a break when I need it, because we spend a lot of time in therapy, and yeah. It can be a lot. And here comes my oldest.
Well, we appreciate all the information, and
Yeah.
I want to make sure that if anyone is listening to this episode have any connections or you feel like you can help, or suppliers that may be able to partner with Dina, please reach out. Her information will be in her blog post. And we just want to make sure that we are helping each other out any way that we can, and that we are
Mhm.
truly collaborating and making it easier for families who have autistic family members to be able to travel. We all love travel,
Yeah.
and we want everyone to be able to have a great experience. And so, again, I really appreciate the work that you're doing, and I'm so glad that we were able to follow up with you to learn all of the fantastic things. And normally, I wait a year because typically in 12 months, things can majorly change. But we are definitely going to follow up with you on a regular basis because I want your goals to be successful. And if I can help in any way, we'll have you on the show as much as we can to get all of that worked out for you.
Uh, Thank you. That's so I'm just so humbled and honored right now. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
So if you want to learn about Dina Farmer and all the wonderful things that she's doing, please go to the travelagentpodcast.com/blog, and her information will be there. Is there anything that I missed that you want to share with the world?
So since we last met, I decided to launch a podcast in the summer of 2020, and it's gone through 3 names already. But by the time that this episode comes out, I'm hoping to start the 3rd season of the Autism Travel Podcast, a William Magnolia travel production. It's a big mouthful, but if you just look it up, Autism Travel Podcast, it'll show up. And it's talking to the traveler, but I do feel like travel advisors could get something out of it if they, because I'm going to share tips and tricks on what I do with my son, and interviews with tourism suppliers. I know that Royal Caribbean is going to be on there, and talking to other travel advisors too that are in the autism travel arena. It's really special to me. I had my son on there, but he said he doesn't want to be on there anymore. But I have been loving doing podcasting because I can just talk instead of spending hours writing a blog article and staring at a cursor, So yeah, I'm really excited about this podcast. It's been my baby, and I'm really excited with where we're pivoting in 2021 with just talking about autism. Before it was a special needs travel podcast, and we talked about other special needs. And now I'm just going to solely focus on talking about autism.
Well, congratulations on starting a podcast. You know that I'm a huge fan of travel professionals starting podcasts, of course. You find your people so much easier.
Mm-hmm.
And they need it. And so you're providing it. So congratulations. And we'll be I will, of course, look forward to listening to new episodes.
Yay. Well, thank you. I'm really excited. I think this is going to be, I think I'm so low. I've had other people, I've looked and I've seen other people talk about vacationing and autism, but not actually having a podcast that's all about like traveling with autism. So I have a lot of really awesome guests that I'm super excited to share.
And this is one thing I'll continue to say. When you go to the grocery store, and I've heard this somewhere and I just keep repeating it, there's not just one cereal in the aisle. There's cereal, an entire aisle from top to bottom. So just because someone else is doing it doesn't mean that you can't. And so I'm glad that you are focusing specifically on something that's near and dear to your heart. Thank you so much for coming on the show, and we look forward to following your journey.
Awesome. Thank you. It's been so much fun chatting today.
So if you've been thinking about starting a podcast or you've been procrastinating, go to the travelagentpodcast.com. I have a podcast course specifically for travel professionals, and I want to help you get your podcast started. It is so easy to get started, and it's a great tool to use to inform your ideal client exactly what's going on, especially right now during COVID. Thank you for joining the Travel Agent Podcast. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review. Visit thetravelagentpodcast.com for more information about today's episode and other travel agent resources. Be sure to tune in every Thursday for new episodes. Until next time, continue to build a travel business you love.